We begin with an update on the U.S. president, who is battling a case of COVID-19 with less than a month to go until the election. Donald Trump surprised his supporters hours ago by appearing briefly outside the hospital where he spent the weekend. An NHK camera crew captured video of the 74-year-old waving from a motorcade before returning to the medical center. Some U.S. media are criticizing the president for staging a photo op before he's recovered from a disease that's killed over 200,000 people in the country. Commentators are also focusing on the Secret Service agents who were in the vehicle, saying Trump put them at risk of infection. A White House spokesperson defended the decision, saying the motorcade had been cleared by the medical team and appropriate precautions were taken. Hours before Trump's surprise appearance, he posted a video on Twitter about his ordeal.
It's been a very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it. And it's a very interesting thing, and I'm going to be letting you know about it.
Trump's doctors say he could be discharged from hospital as early as Monday if things go well.
The patient continues to improve. He has remained without fever since Friday morning. His vital signs are stable. From a pulmonary standpoint, he remains on room air this morning and is not complaining of shortness of breath.
And if he continues to look and feel as well as he does today, our hope is that we can plan for a discharge as early as tomorrow.
They disclosed that Trump had a high fever on Friday morning and that his oxygen level dropped twice on Friday and Saturday. But it returned to normal after he was given supplemental oxygen. The medical team says his treatment has included the antiviral drug remdesivir. He was also given dexamethasone, a steroid typically recommended for pneumonia. Some U.S. media are reporting that the steroid is typically recommended for patients with serious cases. Trump's doctors say he's undergone lung scans, but they declined to elaborate what the results showed. Staying in the U.S., people in parts of New York are bracing for a possible lockdown as coronavirus infections surge again.
What has become clear is that there are a number of neighborhoods now that have continued to have a high level of coronavirus positivity, and that requires stronger action than we've had to take for many months.
The city's mayor says 9 districts, including Brooklyn and Queens, will start 2 weeks of lockdown on Wednesday if state authorities give the go-ahead. Average test positivity rates in those areas have risen above 3% in the past 7 days. Most businesses will be restricted, and face-to-face lessons will be banned in schools. That comes as New York relaxed measures for schools and restaurants in September after nearly 6 months of lockdown. Saudi Arabia's government has eased its coronavirus restrictions. It's now allowing a limited number of citizens and residents to visit Islam's holy site in Mecca. On Sunday, masked and socially distancing pilgrims were seen praying and circling the cube-shaped Kaaba at the Grand Mosque from early morning. Pilgrimages to Mecca are a vital source of foreign currency for Saudi Arabia, as they normally draw huge numbers of Muslims from around the world. But the government suspended the annual pilgrimage in March to contain the spread of the virus. It also sharply limited the number of pilgrims in this year's Hajj, only allowing residents and citizens of the country to take part. The government hasn't said what led to the relaxation, but analysts say the government may be trying to rejuvenate the economy that depends on pilgrimage tourism. Also, the daily tally of infections in Saudi Arabia has been falling since peaking in June. Starting next month, Riyadh plans to permit entry to the holy site to pilgrims from outside the country. Figures from Johns Hopkins University show that over 35 million cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed worldwide, with the death toll standing at over 1 million people. Paris-based fashion designer Takada Kenzo has died at the age of 81 after contracting the coronavirus. He was the Japanese founder of the global brand Kenzo. Takada was born near Kobe in 1939. After studying fashion in Tokyo, he moved to Paris when he was 25. Takada gained prominence after he released novel designs based on ethnic clothing and organized fashion shows in pubs and movie theaters instead of boutiques. In 1984, Takada was named Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters in France. He also received the Medal of Honor in Japan in 1999. Takada's office in Japan said he was admitted to a hospital near Paris in mid-September, and his condition deteriorated earlier this month. Fierce fighting continues between forces from Azerbaijan and Armenia over the long-disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region. 35 civilians are among the more than 240 people who've died since clashes began a week ago. Over the weekend, Azerbaijani forces mounted mortar and rocket attacks on Stepanakert, a major city in the region. Residential housing and sections of roads in the city were destroyed by Azerbaijani soldiers. Some ethnic Armenians in the city have begun evacuating to Armenia. In retaliation, Armenian forces say they shelled a military airport in the Azerbaijani city of Ganja. Decades-long tensions reignited a week ago between the two former Soviet republics. The disputed Nagorno-Karabakh enclave is a part of Azerbaijan, but populated by ethnic Armenians. The mother of a Japanese woman who was abducted by North Korea decades ago is celebrating her daughter's birthday by pleading for her return. Yokota Megumi was abducted in 1977 on her way home from junior high school. She was 13 years old. Her mother, Yokota Sakie, told reporters she wants Megumi to know she's still determined to see her rescued. Sakie and her husband Shigeru have continued to mark Megumi's birthday every year, but Shigeru passed away months ago.
My husband and I always celebrated Megumi's birthday simply, with a small piece of cake and coffee. But this year, it feels quiet and lonely.
Sakie says she feels like she's walking in the dark every day. But she's a little more optimistic after Japan got a new leader last month.
Now that the Prime Minister has changed, I have a little hope. I always tell Megumi I'll make sure she is rescued, no matter what. I place her photo next to her father's. I want to let both of them know my resolve is still strong.
The Japanese government says North Korean agents kidnapped at least 17 Japanese citizens in the 1970s and 80s. Pyongyang repatriated 5 of them in 2002, but the rest remain unaccounted for. Police in northern Thailand have arrested a Japanese national and 4 Thais on suspicion of illegally growing cannabis. It's believed they were selling the drug to people in Japan. The police say 41-year-old Komiya Katsuhisa, a graduate student at a university in Chiang Mai, was arrested Saturday, along with 4 Thai men allegedly hired by him. The police raided a building in Chiang Mai they suspect was used to grow cannabis. They seized 128 plants, as well as dry cannabis. They say Komiya tweeted photos and information in Japanese about producing and using the drug. According to police, Komiya denied some of the allegations and maintains that he cultivated it for research purposes. The need for social distancing amid the pandemic has led to a push to try robots in a variety of tasks. Now, a major Japanese insurer is offering protection against robotic mishaps. Researchers across Japan are testing autonomous robots for jobs such as carrying goods and disinfecting spaces. Sompo Japan Insurance has created a new product that exclusively covers accidents by these machines. It would insure in the event that an autonomously moving robot injures a person or causes damage.
The coronavirus crisis has created a growing need for the delivery of goods to reduce the overall movement of people. We want to contribute to this by providing specific insurance for autonomous robots.
The insurer plans to target businesses, universities, and research institutions testing the devices. Now to world weather with our meteorologist, Setsi Monare. Setsi, there's a storm in Europe that's brought heavy rain and wind to France and Italy over the weekend. How's the situation there now?
The situation is still a little bit of a calamity because of the storm that is still persistent along those parts, and it looks like it might even get a little bit stronger as we move further on. There has been some record-breaking rainfall in certain parts of Italy as well as over Switzerland, and also the southeastern parts of France have also been hit hard as the storm Alex has brought severe and strong winds with record-breaking heavy rain this past weekend. Severe floods swept away roads, destroyed bridges and damaged numerous homes. And at least 9 people have died and 21 people were missing in France and Italy. The mayor of Nice called it the worst flooding disaster in the area for more than a century. And you can see with the destroyed roads and bridges that have been swept away there, that things are looking pretty gloomy and quite dire there. And unfortunately, there's still more to come as you're expecting possibilities of large hail, wind gusts, tornadoes, and even high waves in certain parts. So please do be extra careful. And then along the alpine regions as well, we're expecting snowfall to come through, sort of adding up to worsening the situation. Then temperatures will be along the teens for most parts of Europe, from Vienna, Paris, all the way towards London, Berlin being one of the coolest one at around 14 degrees, but still nice and warm towards the south, and also the Balkan regions where the biggest impacts have taken place. Rome 22, Athens 33, Istanbul at around 31 degrees. Across Asia, we are monitoring a tropical depression sort of making its way towards that western side. So please do be careful if you're going to be along the east. We'll keep it monitored and keep you updated on what is happening. The biggest concern at the moment is these low pressure systems that are leading to unstable weather towards northern parts of Japan, and also heavy rainfall will be coming up towards the center. But for now, do expect a little bit of calm weather towards central Japan, as temperatures in Tokyo could be into the upper 20s. Shanghai at 23 degrees. And if you take a closer look at what's happening in Japan, slightly rainy weather towards Sapporo, as I mentioned. Some unstable weather conditions are expected there, but much warmer towards Naha at 30 degrees. That's all your weather.